as you come in off the street, this is the stairway to our apartment in Florence. Now when I first got here, we had two 40-pound bags of luggage, and I also had a 25-pound backpack that I carried up these stairs. I was foolish enough to carry it all at once, so it was quite the experience. But I can say at least that I did it. But these are the stairs. I never counted all the stairs. There's quite a few. But I did carry both bags and that backpack all the way up. Up we go. The view gets better the higher you go, they say. And we do have a nice view. And up we go. Yes, view's getting better. Stairs are getting a little narrower. We get to the door to our apartment. It's got an unusual key. Looks kind of like that. Goes in the door, turns, and in goes the door. And then, lo and behold, more stairs. So, up you go to the top of the stairs. And yes, we finally made it to the apartment. And you're rewarded with a view like that. There you go. That's the view from the patio. And yes, that's the Duomo. So while in Florence, one of our favorite things to do was to sit up on that patio and just enjoy the view. And it was quite a view. And one of the entertaining things going on was the swifts that were in the area would fly around, mostly in the morning or the afternoon, late afternoon, and take care of the insect problem. They would eat up to 20,000 insects per day per individual. And they were like little World War I flying aces, and they would quite often fly very close to your head. It was quite amazing and quite entertaining. And at the end of the day, we would put together a charcuterie platter and talk about what we did that day and what we were going to do the next day. So when in Florence, one of the things you have to do is to go to a museum. In this case, and that entails standing in line. In this case, we're standing in line for the Galleria dell'Accademia, which is the museum that houses Michelangelo's David. And I'll tell you, the wait was well worth it. And so one of the things that they have is other works of art by Michelangelo. And in this case, in the Hall of David, there are several works of art that were not completed because Michelangelo passed away before they were completed. So you can see these works of art that are almost as if they're crawling out of the stone. It's really very interesting, and probably one of my favorite parts of the museum is the way you can see that Michelangelo works as these statues come out of the stone. But then, of course, at the end of the hall is David. It's really quite amazing to finally see it after all these years. You you hear about it, you read about it, you see all these things, and then finally it's right there in front of you. Uh, it's an amazing thing. You know, I've lived a fairly long life, and to finally see it is something. So the next museum we went to was the Uffizi Museum, and it is riddled with masters, paintings by the masters. And these paintings are by Leonardo da Vinci, obviously one of the greats. And it was amazing to see those paintings. But one of my favorites is Botticelli. These paintings are by Botticelli. I love the painter. This is not a portrait, but it's a famous painting by him. This is probably his most famous painting, Birth of Venus. I had to pose with it, and it's probably my favorite painting by him. One of the surprises was the Roman statues that they have. The level of detail that the Romans put into these statues and busts was just absolutely incredible. I had to get this picture of Mercury. I ran track in college, so I had to get Mercury in there. And this is an interesting bust. It's of an athlete. They knew it was an athlete because he has cauliflower ears. So that was a telltale sign. He also has a laurel wreath. So they knew that he was an athlete. Besides the museums, there are a lot of sights to see in Florence, and none more famous than the Ponte de Vecchio bridge. Here's Linda in front of the Ponte de Vecchio, and here we are walking the Ponte de Vecchio. It's quite a experience just to walk the Ponte de Vecchio, be on the bridge, experience what there is, go to the shops and look around, and of course you have to have a selfie with the river in the background. While there, you walk downtown, see some of the sights, and take in some restaurants. The Alimentary Uffizi was our favorite. We ate there 3 times. It's an amazing place, amazing owner. We talked to him quite a bit, real friendly guy. So now I'll shut up and let you listen to one of the street performers. And while in Florence, we splurged and took a private tour to the Chianti region. Here we are in San Gimignano. Excuse me if I slaughter the name, the Italian pronunciation, but it's known for its watchtowers and cobblestone streets. We also went to the San Appiano winery. We were treated as guests by the winery owner. And here's where I actually got to listen to a cuckoo. We were hosted to the food and wine, and it was just a lovely time, just a wonderful time all in all. So another thing to do in Florence is eat. Here's pasta with ragu sauce. Here's the famous ribollita, a peasant stew. Here's a steak, not the famous Florentine giant steak, but a regular old steak that we ate. Here's a stew that's kind of like a carne asada. That's what it reminded me of. And then pizza. Well, the Italians may have invented pizza, but I wasn't a real big fan of Italian pizza, or at least Florentine pizza. I thought that, well, let's just say I think that the Americans perfected it. Cannelloni, not such a big fan, just not my taste. Oh, yeah, gotta have some of that. Yeah, love me some gelato. That was some good stuff. They perfected that. And then I did a class, a pasta class. That was a lot of fun. The instructor was amazing. He kept the class moving and assisted where necessary and stood back and watched. Here's some cappelletti that I made. and then also made the ravioli all by hand. And then here's the ragu that the instructor was making to go with the some of the noodles that we made. Here's the finished product, the ravioli and the ragu with the noodles. And then we went to the Mercato Central. Here's the downstairs section. The downstairs section is where they have the shops that have the meats and vegetables and all that sort of thing, the canned goods and the breads, etc. So this is where you would go shopping, if you will. So there was a lot to be had, and we did. We bought a fair amount of vegetables and brought them back to our apartment. This is the upstairs section. Now the upstairs section is restaurants, and so during the day it's kind of quiet, but at night, from what I understand, it's quite the scene. The nightlife. This is where you go at night to experience Italian restaurant fare in a very condensed area. So this is what we did with what we got at the Mercato Central. There's the steamed artichokes. Here's fried eggplant that I made. It was a rainy day, so I had nothing to do. This is fried eggplant, and the little long things are the stem of the egg. I'm sorry, not eggplant, but the artichokes. I took some peas that we got and made some pasta, and that's what the result was. And then for dessert, nothing but a pear tart. So leaving Florence, nothing better than a sunset over the Duomo. We enjoyed that from our balcony, and I'll leave that to end the video.